Uh, wow, I feel like we need to do a PowerPoint presentation of the suitors this year because they were not suitable. But maybe this film will get us back in the game, man. And we're going to be talking to Tendayi Nyeke, who's the writer, director, and producer of Loved Out. It is South African cinema. We're about to get louder and a whole lot funnier with the arrival of Loved Out, which is a fearless new dramedy premiering this September from the creative powerhouse Tendayi Nyeke. This unapologetically female-led film blends chaos, comedy, and raw emotion into a story that's stylish as if it's heartfelt. When they said chaos, comedy, and raw emotion, I thought they were talking about my life, man. Joining us is Tendayi Nyeke, who's the writer, director, and producer of Loved Out, to chat about this even more. Tendayi, good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Look, I wish other people had a better love life than me, but when you're saying what you're saying, I'm like, dang, who's winning out there? Come on now.
Oh, is yours also a little bit on the chaotic side of
Look,
life?
I'm hopeful. I'm the author of my own life. I speak beauty and romance and joy
Yeah.
into being. How's that?
Yeah, look, we on the way there. I think we the frogs are very notable, but the prince is on his way, okay? But the frogs
We'll
are
take it.
notable.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
So tell me, I mean, already knowing that your love this year has been very interesting. Putting together Loved Out, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think she's a little bit inspired by the amalgamation of women in my life, myself included, where
Mm,
maybe work is taking too much center stage, and other people's expectations are taking too much center stage in her life. And I think this thing about being the authors of our own destiny, she's someone that is caught in this wheel of pleasing people. She's got this sense of strain around, the black tax piece of it all. You've got a mother who's done so much for you, but the mom is kind of causing chaos in her
mm,
life and sucking a lot of energy out of her, even though she's ambitious and she wants to build a business for the sake of her family and her mom, but she's got
mm,
this pull in that direction. And then she has found love, right? So she has a husband, but he's not ambitious at all, and he's also sucking the life out of her. Although he loves her deeply, he's not really doing much with herself. So she's caught in this situation where she's
mm.
exhausted by loving the people in her life. And that was inspired by I'm originally from Zimbabwe, and coming from a country that faced a deep economic crisis, I got drained. I saw people around me fall out of love with each other because of the strain of circumstance around them. But I also saw how this comedic African sense of ours and looking at things through a sense of humor
Mm.
was something that helped us get through to the other side and helped us face our emotions. So I wanted to capture that spirit in a box and go, as Africans, we can always find a way out somehow, even though we have complexity around us.
Mm.
And in there, there's love, and in there, there's the promise of something better. So that's kind of where the story was born.
I kind of scrunched my face a little bit when you said he's unambitious. I was like, oh, girl, keep him away from me. Lord knows I can't. And listen, unambitious, goodbye, sir. So now, how much of your own life is kind of depicted or shaped Ruva's journey in this film?
I think as an artist, I've always found retrospectively that the work I make seems to be an analysis of something that I'm processing. And so in real time, as I was doing it, yes, I was going through what I was going through and making observations, but I didn't know that I was working that out through the work.
Mm.
And so we shot and filmed it in South Africa, and we've got amazing South African cast, but there's also Zimbabwean cast in there and Zimbabwean crew. But it really is a Zim story. It's a
Mm.
family, mother and daughter, that have left Zimbabwe and started over in South Africa. And South Africa was good to me, became my second home. It held me wholeheartedly. My career in filmmaking was really nurtured there, and I was held and loved and all of that. And this woman has also found a new beginning. So I'm in there a little bit in that, like, you haven't got opportunities where you are, and then you find them
Mm.
elsewhere. But as a grown up now, I've seen that you can actually create opportunities. You don't have to wait for everything around you to align perfectly. You can be the master of your own, to whatever degree that you can do that. And so that's me as well, in that I've come to that conclusion as a grown up, which she hopefully will do by the end of the film. So in terms of the emotional arc and the internal stuff, I think I'm in there and people are around me. And I hope other people that don't share the same exact story as me will find themselves in her and the other characters in the film.
And I wanted to know, I mean, how do you balance the chaos, the comedy, and the raw emotion? I mean, sometimes it can be one more than the other. So how did you bring a balance to this one?
How do you balance it? You tell me. Women have this superpower, don't we? Come on now. Don't we though? Right?
I am dangerously delusional. So in my world, I use chaos to drive me. Chaos is my fuel, right? So if I have a lot going on, I make sure I use that lot to get to what I need to do. So if let's say I'm going through a breakup, I make sure that I pick up a new hairstyle. I do something different with my routine to make sure that I'm turning that rage, that anger, that frustration into something else, into something productive. So chaos for me is fuel.
Wait. Okay, I don't know if you're a star sign gal, but what star sign are you?
Pisces through and through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I don't wholesale subscribe, but I do find it useful. So I'm a Capricorn. I cannot. What you're doing, me, no. I need grounding, stability, order.
You're an earth
But
sign. Of course you are. You're clinical earth sign. So you guys are the grounders. Hence, you even at the beginning of the year, you kind of set the tone. So it makes sense why you're
ha
acting
la
like that.
la. Yes.
But with
Tell people.
with a Pisces, we flow with the water. So with us, if for example there's a rock that just hits the water, the tides don't suddenly just stop. We carry on flowing with it. We flow with the rock. So that's kind of how it is. If there's chaos in my life, then and if you see me with the new hairstyle, you must know. Oh, she just turned something.
Oh,
Yeah,
something went down.
something went
behind
down.
something went down. So I mean, to your question about the balancing act, right? The beauty of this film is that it's an ensemble film. So we've got the Pisces in there, we've got the Mies in there, the cat. So we've got Tumi Morake who plays like a really colorful, space-taking, energy-sucking mother-in-law, and then we've got Kabonina Kubera who plays Gloria, who is the life of the party, who might be more Pisces. What I don't know, maybe Libra, I don't know, but she's chaos, right? Then we've got Ruva, who might actually be more cap sign, I don't know, but
Yeah.
we've got all of these people. So the minute you are in a universe and there's people in it, you do get these different tones. Just like in life, there's people in your life that find the humor in everything. Then there's the people that are the deeper, more spiritual people. So in a way, it was creating a world with people that I recognize and know, that added to this color. So it's not a hardcore comedy, but these characters are in comedic situations and they look at
Yeah.
things, and they find themselves in these interesting moments. And then some of them are actually more funny than others. And so that's how these different elements were able to fit in perfectly, because it represents it in the authenticity of each character.
Tendayi, please hold on to your kitten heels. We have to go into an ad break, but the conversation continues just after. It is a 7:40 Central African time. We'll be right back.
The KwaZulu-Natal Convention Bureau, in collaboration with Milvest Advisory and the city of Mhlathuze, brings you the 2025 Tourism Investment Forum, Africa. By positioning these regions for sustainable growth, TIFA helps drive their economic ambitions while providing access to critical capital, networks, and strategic insights on investments in the trade services sector, such as tourism. Join us for the TIFA 2025 from August 27 to 29 at Tembela Venue, Richards Bay, KZN, South Africa. Be part of the movement transforming tourism and infrastructure in Africa.
Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Wake up with Oasis.
Welcome back to it. It is 7:42 Central African time. The conversation continues with writer, director, and producer of Loved Out, Tendayi Nyeke, coming through there. Girl, so you can put them down now. We're back again. So, I really enjoy the element of mother-in-law and family dynamics because, when you speak about how, yes, the characters are inherently from Zimbabwe, the one thing that is throughout in Africa is that we all have some similar struggles. especially the likes with mother-in-law. You know, there's a certain performance that we have to put together to impress our mothers-in-law, you know, and make sure that they like us because, you know, our husbands are just so amazing and we want to make sure that we're just liked and adored and just fuzzed out by, you know, our in-laws. How is that kind of like depicted in this film?
It's actually depicted in the most funny way possible. And I truly cannot wait. Like, if you watch the trailer, please, y'all, watch the trailer. You'll see the vibe. Just imagine Tumi Morake being somebody's mother-in-law, period, right? And the beauty of this was drawing from the character's own reality. So Tulani Nzonzo, who plays David, who's Tumi Morake's son, he is besties with his mom. And so the direction I gave them was, y'all are annoyingly besties. Go. And that was it.
I love
And so
that.
can you imagine if you're married to a person who's not like beheld to their mom and that thing that we're used to seeing, right? But where it's like he kikis with his mom, he roasts his wife with his mom. It's that kind of relationship. So she's just like, she just becomes a spectator of her own life when mom-in-law is around. And then there's just this moment where it's like a boundary does have to be drawn because it becomes a little bit out of hand. So it is that a different expression of that. I don't think we're used to seeing that on screen, but those relationships are there. Those, especially with Gen Zs, the younger sons that are very, very close to their moms. So that's a really fun dynamic that we're going to see on screen.
I mean, I was about to say, you know, if we are roasting, can we roast back? Because it's very easy to dish, but can you take that?
You roast like this. You roast like that, but not like, no. Look, I don't know if that day will ever come with African families where you can roast mom-in-law direct. I don't know.
I mean, if you're not afraid of consequences, you know, but I wouldn't really, I wouldn't take advice from the delusional Pisces, babes. I would, no, like open a book, guys, touch some grass, do not. So I think I wanted to find out, especially being a female writer, director, and producer, telling women's stories, it's really up to us to be able to communicate some of the struggles that we go through. Because from a man's perspective, he probably doesn't even know all these intricacies that we have to encapsulate. But with us, it's like, oh, dude, we even have to be wary of the hair we wear. The dress that we wear can't be too tight or too revealing or too this. They don't really pay attention to this stuff. But I wanted to find out, what is the most challenging scene to film, and what was that experience like?
Oh man. Okay. So my journey as a filmmaker has been producing mainly, right? So supporting creative people, which I adore, I love it. But I'm also a storyteller at heart. But it was the first time in my almost 15 years long career of being the creative shepherd, right? Where it's my vision and asking for what I want, which also as women, we really struggle to do sometimes. Maybe it's the Zimbabwean in me, the Shona girl in me, the Capricorn in me. But what was hard was I never directed as much. So that was already that, asking for what I want and then knowing how to articulate it regardless of the scene. And so the practice of that was interesting, but I was very fortunate to be supported by predominantly female heads of departments. But even the male heads of departments, my first assistant director, for example, is like my dad's age, but he was so honoring to me and made it easy to communicate and supported me. But there was a scene. The thing that scared me the most was the action, because there's actually action in this. I'm not like a true rom-com lover. I find rom-coms just not real. And so that's why there's a bunch of chaos in there, because I wanted to play with that reality. So there's action and there's fighting sequences, and I was terrified to do that. But because it was comedic action, that made it so fun, and everybody was learning, it turned out, even the stunt coordinator, because when the stunt coordinator was choreographing these scenes, he was being super intense, James Bond. I was like, no. There's no James Bond here, right? What's the Mr. Bean version of this fight sequence? So it ended up being really fun, and all of us just rolling up our sleeves and kind of jumping in and telling the funniest version of a moment. But yeah, those action scenes really did stretch me, but they were so fun to do, because I'm a gymnast historically, so I'm quite physical as a person. So I was also on the floor there demonstrating stuff, and I had the time of my life doing that, as hard as it was.
And it sounds exciting. I think your energy allows us to really welcome this film, and we look forward to it. But where can we find it? It's coming out in September. Is there a specific date we can look forward to? We can mark it in our calendars.
Yes. So 26th of September, New Metro, Ster-Kinekor, and Cinecenter. A bunch of people don't know Cinecenter. Cinecenter is fantastic. It's in fact, it's the oldest cinema in South Africa. It was the first cinema, Black-owned, Indian-owned cinema in the country. So please go see Ster-Kinekor, New Metro, Cinecenter, 26th of September. The film premieres. If you want to find out more, you can just check out our website, www.lovedoutaf.com. All the ticketing information will come up right there. We have a podcast where we're expanding the conversations outside of the film, so you can chat to the cast members about the themes in the film, and that's also Loved Out AF on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. So Loved Out AF everywhere, and you can get all the information you need, but we want to see you in the cinema on the 26th of September.
Amazing stuff. Tendayi, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to you. And you know what? Let's just turn the comedy and chaos into something good. You know? You'll touch some.
Thank you.
You'll touch some grass and ground yourself, girl. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna be outside. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Amazing stuff. That was Tendayi Nyeke, the writer and director and producer of Loved Out, and we look forward to seeing it in cinema on the 26th of September. Let's support Black, let's support African, let's support women, let's support Black African women. 7:49 Central African Time.
In a noisy world,